Namaskar, welcome to Bharat Ki Baat. Today we have Martin with us. He is a filmmaker from Poland, lived his whole life in Copenhagen. He doesn't only like the Bollywood movies but also South Indian movies. So let's learn about his love for Indian cinema. Hello Martin.
Before I could not hear it, and then like you asked Pooja about something, and I was like, oh, Punjabi accent.
Punjabi. Maybe that's the roughness and the tone, I would say.
Yeah, there's more
I
like
don't know.
there's more singing in the words, and the words are longer. If you just know a little bit about India, you know that it's the only country in the world with no one official language, and you will know that there's 52 languages where more than 1 million has it as a mother tongue.
Yeah.
So, and from that you can also like guess that there's different cultures in the culture. I hope that girls see me as a Shah Rukh, but my favorite would always be a Amir. And like I think inside of me, working wise and emotionally, I am a Amir, but I want to be seen as a Shah Rukh.
So, yeah.
And Salman, I like all, like all Khans has good things, but like personally, I'm just like maybe the opposite of a Salman. No farmhouse, no muscles, looking for relationships, so just not a Salman. So you know, my mom's favorite movie is My Name is Khan. And like I can say that of course my mom is just like, she's not Indian, but in that sense she's just a typical Desi mom that
Desi
you
mom.
know that I learned from little that to know what my mom's favorite movie is to count how many times my mom cries through the movie. So if she cries many times, it's her favorite movie. And she cried I think 9 times through My Name is Khan. So, but you know, it's her favorite actress, Kajol, favorite pair, Shah Rukh and Kajol, and it's about an autistic person. My name is Khan, and her son, me, I'm born with autism. So that's why it's like, then your mom will just cry through the whole movie. I have not met Obama, and but yeah. But you know, I could watch any kind of movie. Like many people are like, also you are like, you want to be Indian, you are Indian person. And in some way it's correct, and in some way it's not right, because I fell in love with Indian movies in a ittifaq way. It was ittifaq that I found the ishq. But it's not ittifaq that we stay, just like any kind of love. And I fell in love because it's good movies. And of course there are good movies and there are bad movies, just like in anything else. But but the good ones are enough for me. And just like, you know, I'm very like a committed monogamy person. So like it's very normal the way I treat it. Like, you know, I only watch Indian movies, I only wear Ralph Lauren, I only like, when I do something it's basically 100%, if you know what I mean. But at the same time I don't preach. I don't tell people that you should only wear Ralph Lauren or you should only watch Indian movies. These are my things. And actually I'm more like, not that I hide it from the world, but it's just, you know, it's my thing. It's an immense pleasure to talk about it, just like with you today,
Yeah.
and that you share your passion with someone, but on the other hand it's your thing.
So, what's your favorite part in a Bollywood movie? Is it the plot, the music, the dance? What attracted you the most?
Well, I remember when I first time saw an Indian movie, which was Gajini. The first thing I fell in love with, that you can have so many different genres and emotions in the same movie. Like when you ask about the dancing, there is of course a misconception that Indian movies are 7 hours dancing and elephants and lots of colors, though it can be true in older movies. And though I don't dislike dancing, I think it's about the storytelling, about that you can have entertaining movies, I would say, for the heart, but still brave movies for the brain, that you have enough just in Indian movies. You can get everything inside of the same meal, if you might say it in that way. Yeah. But I don't think I have this like a favorite dance scene or something. Of course, like it would just be like the millionth time that anybody has said that Hrithik Roshan is the best dancer, because he is. And I know that the best choreographer is called Farah Khan, which later also became Prabhu Deva Tamil.
Yeah.
And I think she made the choreography to the dance scene with Hrithik Roshan in Koi Mil Gaya, which is the first part in the Krish series, where he's dancing like on when it's raining, and he's like standing almost like Michael Jackson in some way. I remember that as strongly as I was. It was yesterday.
The song is Ye Toone Kya Kiya.
Yeah, that's true. And when we are talking about music, it's like Arijit Singh.
Yeah.
But in South movies, it's like the South answer to Arijit Singh. He's called Sid Sriman. And A.R. Rahman. I actually saw his concert in Dubai.
Okay.
It was, I think it was in 2019. And though I have been to many concerts in my life, 200-300 concerts in my life, it was the best concert in my life.
He's the best. Rockstar music. Oh, you can feel it.
Yeah. Oh. It was like from 8 o'clock, and then it was just 3 hours. And all songs were like music videos made on the scene, with the right singers were there and everything. And he was just behind with his sunglasses on. Yeah.
In real life, they don't, specify race or ethnicity of the criminal or so.
Yeah.
How does it play in the movies?
In Danish movies?
Yes.
Like nowadays, I don't know, because I have only seen Indian movies for the last 13 years or something.
But you have Danish friends, they must have told you how's it.
I actually almost don't have Danish friends. Like my friends are all like, I have one friend, she's Danish, but she don't seem Danish, and my other friends, they are not Danish. Yeah, it's like from Iraq, Somalia, and yeah. So
Yeah. International guy.
yeah, I would like, I was born with this interest towards different cultures and expressing feelings in like a cultural way. So like I started my feeling towards music started when I was 10 years old. So I went to the library and I rented all CDs which looked different. And that already there, it was like, I remember one of the only Indian things, it was the soundtrack to Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. So like already at that point I was like interested in different kind of languages and cultures. Like languages has always been like a pleasure for me, like the sound of language. When I was 5 years old, my mom and my stepfather was in the sofa, and like as a Friday entertainment they had to choose a language, and then I was entertaining them doing like the news and the weather report in that language when I was like 5 years old. That's how much like I liked languages. And in school, you know, in Denmark you have to choose between German or French. I don't know why I chose German. So when they had a substitute teacher in French, I was going into them and reading in French. And then the teacher, she was like, "Oh, magnifique, Martin, what was your read?" And I was like, "I don't know what I read." I just like the differences, and especially like when I watch a movie, right? Like for instance, there's this Malayalam movie. It's called Angamali Diaries. It's from the city Angamali. So for you to understand like the culture, and that you have, you know, to hear like there's this different dialect, the slang, and also like the differences speaking Hindi in Pune and in Mumbai and stuff like that. And why is it? Is it because of like it's more like street Hindi, or is it because they normally speak Marathi and they switch into Hindi? I enjoy it in that way.
Hindi too has many dialects. Many. Every Hindi is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And how many languages do you know?
Like fluently, or like I always say that my first language is Danish, Polish, and English. And until I was 6 years old, I didn't know that I was speaking 2 languages. I was just speaking to everyone in Polish and Danish, to the bus driver, in kindergarten, to everyone, Danish and Polish. And but the thing is, though I love languages, I'm really like bad at translating. So I have this thing that I have this feeling that I only speak one language. It's just like things only like let's say a glass, then it can only be in one language, if you know. And it also like the TV remote. It's like to this day I can only say it in Polish and not Danish, if you know what I mean. Like they only, and that was also like when I started watching Indian and at the beginning Hindi movies, it was so relatable for me that that they speak in 2 languages at one time, because that's the way I have been speaking my whole life. When I speak to my mom or to my dad, it's 50-50, and I switch just the way that I like. And it's the same way, like, you know, when you see a coffee with Karan and they say, like, say, let's say, a table in Hindi, and they're like, table? Because there's just these words that you just only use them in English, and it's just exactly the same way that I have been speaking in my whole life. And that's also why I could, when I was making the trilogy, make the character speaking English with a little bit of Hindi, because that's exactly the way that I speak, just with Danish and Polish. And you know, like then I just had to find like the right words, changing them, right? Like, for instance, I would never call my mom mother. It has to be like in choda choda, like pyar se name, you know. So like I changed it to Mami Ji, because it sounded like something I could have said, right? In a funny way. Yeah, so that's like, it was very, very relatable.
That reminds me of this meme going on internet. It's in Punjabi, sort of. The hero says to the actress, "Ki speakni pahi hai." So speaking, it's with matra. What's that? I don't know. But with Punjabi grammar mixed.
That's true.
Ki speakni pahi hai. Ki karni pahi hai.
And it's also like, I would like on the DVDs or in the cinema, it's always in English subtitles. I've only tried once, I think, watch Indian movie with Danish subtitles. I was like, what's this? Especially because half of it is in English, so it was like so frustrating. Like, then you had to have a third language in the loop, if you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Because then when you reach the English subtitles, when they speak English, then it's, you know, the same word in the subtitles, right? So there's no so much mixing in that way.
And you said you started with Hum Aapke Hain, so can you sing along Tadap Tadap Ke?
No, but I guess I would be able to it, but I had this thing, you know, I was making music before in my old days, and I was also DJing, and I had this thing that for almost all DJ sets that I had to play Jutelelo Peselelo. And it was many years afterwards I saw the movie, and so what it was about, like the shadi tradition, you know.
Ritual,
So but it was like, for many like DJ events, people were like, what's going on? But I had to play Jutelelo Peselelo.
In here in Denmark?
Yeah. I always had to. It was very wild. But when I started singing, they were like, okay, it's a good song.
Tin, 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 tin. Like that. On DJ, I can imagine the fun.
But no, the beginning with Hum Aapke Hai Kaun was only library, listening to music and stuff like that. The beginning with Indian movies was, for me, was when I was in Dubai with my mom. It was in 2010 or 2011. We were at Virgin Megastore. Because I was very fond of music, and then there was this section of DVDs, and there were a lot of Hindi movies, and I was like, that looks interesting. So I bought 10, 11, 12 DVDs, and it was at the time when I stopped making music. So, but I still had this, like the routine was still different for me, like not sleeping in the nights and stuff like that. So there was one night I was like, oh, I had these Indian movies, maybe I should watch one of them. So I put on Gajini. So that was the first. I actually know the first Indian movie I actually watched, but that was not whole. It was The Ex-Girlfriend, which the second movie, my movie was called Khushbu. I remember because she was adopted, so her parents wanted her to see Indian culture. And I remember we watched, but it was only like 20 minutes of Lagan. And you know, 20 minutes of like Lagan, it's like 1% of the movie of the length Lagan has, right? So, but no, the whole movie, the first I saw was Gajini, of the DVDs I bought, and I was like, it was just like a storm hit me, but in a good way. Like eventually I found out that like that style was because it's a remake of a Tamil movie, so I understood. Like nowadays, even with my mom, it's like if a movie has like 5 subplots and it's a comedy, action, thriller, we just call it a Tamil movie. then even my mom knows, like a Tamil movie, like everything at one time. So yeah, that was
they fooled us like long time. They never revealed that it's a remake, and we always thought, oh. And when like in my college days, another movie like Rockstar, was Ashki 2.
Yeah, Ashki 2.
And my friends and I were like blown by the movie.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story! Like. That time you were at like at the peak of your you know so, and later I came to know it's a remake, and that broke my heart.
But a remake can also be good.
Yes.
Of course it will never be how can you say it, original in the same way, but it's not fake, if you know what I mean. It can still be a good movie, and but I would never say like that you should be able to win a Filmfare award as best movie for a movie that is a remake. But it can still be a very good movie, and an actor can still be able, like about the Filmfare, I had this line in the third movie where he's playing himself. Like there's this actor playing me, and so the actor says, which is something I have said before, he says, I'd rather be nominated for a Filmfare than win an Oscar. Like that's like my thoughts, right? So yeah, so I saw Gajini, and then it was just like I was blown away. I fell in love, and from that day I haven't seen any other movies than Indian movies. So I of course started watching Hindi movies, buying DVDs because that was something that existed at that time. And then I found out through a friend that you could see Indian movies here in Denmark. And then I found out that in Dubai you can see even more Indian movies at the cinema, and I started like making these Indian cinema trips to Dubai, where I at one point found out what the limit is to how many movies you can watch in the cinema at one day, with 4 nights stay and 13 movies in the cinema.
That's crazy.
And that's also the way I found out watching other languages than Hindi, because then I planned this other trip to Dubai. I think it was 9 nights, and they were only showing 7 Hindi movies. So I was like, that's not enough. And then I was watching like, okay, so it says it's Indian, but it was in different languages. So I was like, I'll try it. You can always, it's not that expensive for cinema ticket in Dubai, so you can always go out if it's not something for you. And then I fell in love with those languages as well. So like I have seen in many languages, but the top 4, which are like closest to my heart, is Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil and Telugu. But I have watched movies in Punjabi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengal, and I've learned from the actress Konkana that it's not Bengal, it's Bengal.
Bengal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to be like a little bit snobbish in the sound when it's Bengal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like that's how the journey has been through the whole Indian movie thing. Yeah. And like I said before, that before it was like I bought all the DVDs that was possible to buy, and especially after the corona outbreak, it was just from one day to another they stopped, and then I had to eventually learn how to still manage to watch all movies, but not through a DVD. And then I found out about this streaming legal thing, which I can still obtain all the Indian movies until this day. So yeah, so basically it's like watching movies at home and watching movies in the cinema.
Is this platform a secret, or you can reveal it here?
Yeah, I can really reveal it. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, but it's Einthusan, I think.
Okay.
Like EINTHUSAN.
Okay, let me know later. We can put it in the description.
Yeah,
So for
yeah.
interested
Yeah,
souls.
of course. Yeah, so actually it's just like the biggest South movie library, but but it has as many Hindi movies as well. I have this long list, and all Hindi movies should be there, and they are there. So
What differences do you find in Indian cinema or West?
in Indian cinema and Western cinema, so like before Indian movies, before I learned about Indian movies, you might say, or fell in love, I was only watching like French and artistic and film festival music, like dark movies, you might say, for the brain. And though I enjoyed it, I missed a part. Like it was like having the left hand but missing the right hand. That was like that. So when I fell in love with Indian movies, it was like I was feeling complete, that I had the light and the darkness, the Karan Johar and the Anurag Kashyap. Like the differences between Indian and Western, just in movies in general, I think I would be colored because I would generalize in the way that I have only seen Indian movies in 13-14 years. So I don't think I would be the right actually to answer it in the most diplomatic way, but I can try. Because of the cultural style that movies tend to be longer, you can manage to tell more things in one movie, and that's a strength if the movie is good. So like movies like biographies or like sport movies will always be magnificent. It's hard for me to even imagine like a bad Hindi like biography or sport movie, because you have like the time to have the whole cricket match, or tell MS Dhoni from he was a small child to he's older, or like any kind of thing, right? You have shorter festival type of movies, but there's also like, yeah, the differences can be like in the cultural way, the way people are behaving. There's also like this thing that though people think that like there's dances to all music numbers and so on, you have a soundtrack to all movies. So you are like, there's also like this thing like preparing for the movie, like everybody is like, oh, have you heard the new movie for the upcoming Akshay Kumar Chaiga Shroff movie is like a good number and stuff like that. So there's also like a different aspect, you might say, that like at Filmfare Awards, best music, it's like to a soundtrack album of songs. But at the Academy Awards, there's only background score, because you don't have any soundtrack, you know, with songs. So that's like completely different. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite movies?
I think my favorite Hindi movie would be Gangsta Waziapur, directed by my favorite director Anurag Kashyap.
Okay.
And the lead role, my favorite Hindi actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui.
Yeah.
But and my favorite all-time movie would be a Tamil movie called Super Deluxe.
Okay.
Which is starring, actually it's a Tamil movie, but it has my favorite Malayalam actor called Fahad Fazil.
Okay.
You can also see him in like bigger movies like Telugu movie Pushpa. Okay. And then my my crush Samantha is also in the movie, whispering through the whole movie. Yeah, so my favorite would be like in all languages would be Super Deluxe. And I think I mentioned before my Dubai movie trips. Yeah. And I actually saw Super Deluxe on the premiere in Dubai. The next day, what did I do, you think? After I watched
it again.
Exactly. Yeah. But in Dubai you can see movies in different ways. So and you can tell me if it was a good choice. On the first day, first show, like we say it, house full. It was in a normal theater with young Tamil guys in Dubai. On the second day, when I watched it again, there's a thing called Gold in Dubai, which means that it's with the table and lights, and you order from a menu and you get the food with fork and knife, and that's the way I saw it in the second day.
Okay.
And it was even better the second day. And then they released it, because most like Tamil movies weren't almost never released in India, because they had many issues with piracy, especially in Tamil, so they were almost only released in Malaysia, because of Tamil speaking over there. So I bought it on DVD, and then they released it also in Singapore, where there also are Tamil people speaking. I also bought it, and so that's the love for Super Deluxe. And I love I have always had a big love for music, but the thing about Super Deluxe is that it's a 3-hour movie with no songs.
What, according to you, are some misconceptions about Bollywood or Indian cinema?
Like what I first hear when like Western people hear that I only watch Indian movies, it's like also you like people singing and dancing, you like many colors, and you can survive for 7 hours in a cinema hall. Like the last part is a very big misconception, even though that Indian movies are longer, but what I have heard about Western movies is that they are closing up to the length of Indian movies. That is a misconception. Another misconception can also be that Indian movies can be dark, that they can have themes about different or like hard things, that Indian movies try to say things, that if you like have a brain, should you even watch Indian movies because they are unrealistic and only about singing and dancing and stuff like that. I heard you were watching artful things, so have you gone wrong? The list is long, but you can only have misconception or judgments about things when you haven't seen or learned about it. What, like with everything, there's bad and good things about everything and everyone in life, but I like Indian movies. I love Indian movies, though that I know that there can be bad movies. Nobody else can say anything about them. Just the way like that you love Pooja, and you know what things you just tolerate, but nobody else should mention those things.
So true.
And it will hurt you, even if it's right or wrong. If somebody says that Student of the Year, it's a bad movie, it hurts because it's true. When people say that Indian movies are for people with no brain and they are 7 hours long, it hurts, but it's not true. But I can say it because it's my
when
thing.
Yeah. When you are family, you became close, you can.
Yeah, it's true. But still, I'm like you know, I don't have this, like, I would call it the Indian way. It's like already knowing that a movie will be a box office hit before it even releases. That kind of thing I don't have. Like I always cheer for those who are releasing movies. I can look at a poster and think, okay, but I will always cheer for everyone. And I can have my predictions or something like that, but I know the feeling that they are ours, so we can tear them down. And even though that I have this feeling that Indian movies are my movies, I would never have that like kind of behavior or thinking. Like I wish the best for everyone, but that's just like my human behavior. In
But in general, also critic doesn't understand uh, that how much work
Yeah.
goes into
Of
making a
course.
film.
Yeah, and also like you have to understand as a critique or as an audience that movies are different. Like you cannot like look at a Karan Johar movie the way you look at an Anurag Kashyap movie. And you have to like understand that it's a different spot in your body. It's like you don't go to a dentist if your stomach hurts.
Yes.
So if you feel lighthearted and you want to laugh, don't go watch Black Friday.
Yeah.
It would be very weird. It would be like serving meat to a vegetarian.
Yes.
So yeah, everything should have its own critique, but that doesn't mean that there isn't like any kind of bad movies. We will just not mention them here.
Yeah.
So we won't get revealed. So we won't mention.
It's our secret.
Yeah, we won't mention Golmaal or Total Damal. Or,
Yeah.
We will not mention.
Golmaal Returns.
Yeah.
Don't mention that.
Don't mention the wall. Yeah.
It's family secret.
Yeah, family secret, family recipe. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those were disasters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's the only like genre I don't understand. That's like I would call it slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you call it that?
I enjoyed Dhamal, not Dhamal Returns, but
No.
Dhamal was, but I later found out
Yeah.
like it was copied
Yeah.
from bunch of different movies. So they were collaborated in one movie from different, some from French, some from maybe German regional cinema, and they were cut together. So that's a ugly face. And
Like the recent
Bollywood, I would say, not Indian cinema, because regional work is so original.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
Bollywood does that.
the recent movies I don't want to talk about would be Circus with Ranveer Singh.
Okay.
It was Rohit Shetty movie. Though Rohit Shetty can make not shitty but good movies, Circus was like flushing Ranveer Singh down the toilet. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, but Anurag himself said it that Bombay Velvet was a disaster. It's also with.
Okay, that's a total different thing. It was like taking the best director and like giving him a big budget. You should never do that. On the other hand, like personally, I like the movie.
Okay.
I like the acting from Ranbir as always, Anushka.
Yeah.
Karan Johar was not that bad, though it was like a few sequences as an actor, and he laughs at it himself, and the plot was good. Let me put it in like one line. It was not Anurag Kashyap's worst film. Okay. And I would say that his worst film is one of the best films, if you know what I mean.
Really?
Yeah. One of
Gangs of Wasseypur?
No, that's not his worst film.
Okay.
I don't know. It must be like he was making this kind of romantic movies. There was this Man Marzian.
Man Marzian.
Yeah. and another one as well. So that would be Anurag Kashyap's worst films,
Yeah.
but they're still one of the best films that are made. So that only says something about my likeness of Anurag Kashyap's movies. Yeah.
Fanboy.
Yeah, like I've never seen myself as a fan, but I can say it this way, I'm sure that I would, if I met him, I would agree on many things.
Does he inspire you in some way? In making films or maybe?
Yeah, like the film that like I could say that has inspired me in some way is this movie called Love, Sex or Dhokha. Hindi movie, I think it's from 2010.
Yeah.
LSD. It's like 3 or 4 short films in one movie.
Yeah.
It was at first time banned and then released. And how did it inspire me? Like the aspect of camera work.
Yeah.
Though I will never be a cameraman, I don't understand anything. I just know that when it's a red light, I say camera rolling and action and so on. But how to see like a story and through a new perspective through a camera, having like different plots into one movie. Yeah, it's very worthy. Love, Sex or Dhokha. What do you choose?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
very catchy and
yeah. It's true.
selling. Yeah.
They are actually making a LSD too.
Oh,
I think it will come in July or something.
Okay.
The same director. Banerjee sir.
Do you have something unique in your DVD collection?
What can I say about that? If you had asked me like about my music collection, I would know what the unique thing is, because I know that some things are more worth than others. Like but I understand the question, but I think it will be hard to answer it, because if something has to be unique, some people has to be interested in it, and I think like not that it has to like be everything about my own movies, but the character playing me says in one scene many times, "So mom, am I the last person on earth buying DVDs?" And I found out that I was the last person on earth buying DVDs. And in that sense, I think nobody will ever give about DVDs, and that's why I think but like it's unique for me personally.
Why is that? Like, do you enjoy it more? Or
like especially like it's like both with music and movies. I'm nostalgic and old school in that way that the glass is half full if you don't have everything behind it. For sure that some products are manufactured in a way that you don't think you get the full picture, but nonetheless that they are presented the way that they are presented. It's like, let's say with an Indian DVD, what do I miss today when I stream the movie and I don't watch the DVD? On the DVD I had this like feeling that there's a cover, which means there's a representation of the movie, like this is the movie in one picture. That doesn't exist anymore. There's a certificate on the back, which for non-Indian people means who can watch it. and in the Western world it's called like 7 years, 11 years, 15 years, but in the Indian way it's called UANA. And like to see if it's like a true Indian DVD, then there's like the certificate on the back.
Yes.
UA, and then you know it's like, oh, it's a original movie. And you could, I could, like, I don't do it anymore, but like sometimes I had this, like, there's a blanket on the floor by the DVDs, and then I could just like sit for an hour and just like just looking at them, like, okay, so what's the longest movie, and okay, so it's Lagan, and then Jodha Akbar, and okay, so how many A movies do I have? Not blue film, but A movies, and stuff like that, and what about the manufacturers and everything, like, who was making the movies, like Eros, Yash Raj Films, Reliance, C-Series, and then on
nerdy stuff.
Yeah, all the nerdy stuff. Yes, like but I think basically for a nerd is like you have it in your hands.
Yes, it's a different kind of feeling when you have the physical thing in your hand. You own it.
Yeah.
It's
and of course there's this difference because when it's music, the sound is also different. On a vinyl record, on a cassette tape, on a DVD is no different. The streaming is, we have a surround sound, and it's the same. So yeah, it's more like about the product, because I must be honest that when you watch the movie, you don't see a difference.
Can you mention some of your favorite dialogues?
Favorite dialogues in Indian movies, like, that I don't remember all kind of dialogues, because especially in the beginning, like, you are just pestered to the subtitles to know what happens. I remember words here and there. I think the strongest memory would be from one of my favorite Hindi movies, Gang Sa Waziapur. There's Nawazuddin Siddiqui, which at that point is like the leader in the gang. And he's discussing with the actress is Huma Qureshi. She's his wife. And she's like, okay, you're looking so old now. And like her true Nawazuddin character, he gets frustrated, but still it's hard for him to like get it out, because like an Indian man, that the woman, like, she should have the power over him. So he's taking, I think, the anger out on his let's say like assistant or something. So he's like, okay, how old do you think I look? He says to the assistant, and he says his age, and he takes his gun out. How old do I look? And he's like 20, and he's pointed more the gun in his head, and he says, okay, 0, happy birthday. And he don't shoot him.
That's a funny scene.
Yeah, but otherwise, it would be it would be hard to choose like one dialogue over another dialogue, but I still of course remember dialogues from my own movie when the character playing me, you must admit that it's a good dialogue that he's asking, so what means Hamesha? and she says Hamesha means forever. And he says, then what means forever? I really like that because there's the twist between that she thinks that he don't understand the Hindi word. In that way, yeah. There's also like this thing, I of course don't like, we talked about like languages and the sounds of languages, and I will never choose like between Hindi, Malayalam, Telugu or Tamil, because that's, we can call it the big four. And of course Hindi, like as a language, it's like my mom even says is that when we watch movies at home, she's like, when we are watching Hindi movies, she's like, oh, I can relax, I don't have to like look at the subtitles all the time. So she's also like used to the Hindi language, and stuff like that. So I will not, so it's of course closer to me, but I will not like choose one over the other. And that's also why when people say, oh, are you not the one watching Bollywood movies, and I say Indian movies, that's it is not like that it sounds dirty or anything. It's just, for me, I watch Indian movies because that's like the definition of it. But I must say, like with the sound of Malayalam, like when and it was, I think, also like the first non-Hindi movie I saw, and I must say you must start somewhere else, because when I saw, like I was in the cinema and I heard the sound of Malayalam for the first time, I was like, nobody can speak like that. It's just like, it just sounds so crazy. And yeah, and it's like, I would say like, so of course I it's not like, so I started to understand some words, even though that in the beginning it sounded just like a jukebox going crazy. So even though I started to like hear the sounds, also like differences, like the movie I told before about Angamali Diaries, that it's like a different kind of slang of Malayalam and things like that. And I brought this movie. No one of us will ever try to pronounce the title. Maybe you can try to pronounce this title. Yeah. And it's also like a good way to...
Nandu kalede natele ori devele.
Yeah, and it's also like a good way.
Sorry for mimicking.
Good way of like showing people that like Indians are not just Indians.
Yeah.
There's more. But this is like a movie I would call one of my favorite feel-good movies. But the funny thing, I already told about like that plots are different in Malayalam movies.
Yeah.
And even though it's a feel-good movie, it's like a family reuniting where the mom is about to tell them that she has cancer.
Okay.
A feel-good movie where a mom reveals that she has a cancer. But that's where I learned from, especially, I think it was the first Malayalam movie I ever saw, from 17, yes. And that's also where I learned that, you know, to speak Malayalam, it's not only the words, but how you like say things. So also like when they speak English, they can switch to normal English or like Malayalam English. So like I learned from like that movie that it's the daughter and her father comes home, and she asked like she didn't remember like what chai he was drinking. So the chai, so chai is chai, and the stronger or the lighter. So light. So every word when you say it in Malayalam, you have to find like the Malayalam sound. So that's like Skype, and it was the phone, and like in Tamil it's Chechi, but you say Chechi. Yeah. So like I was just sitting and just like. Yeah, I really like love the sound of it. But then like in different aspect of movies, sometimes it can even like the most kind of like, how can you say it in the right tone, like dirty kind of movies like that like my mom was like, okay, I'm taking a shower after this movie that it's only men and they all have like dirty tank tops. And everything, it just like it smells when you watch the movie. Like that kind of Malayalam it can be, and then it can sound like more, yeah, so it can sound in different way, but yeah.
And have you watched Punjabi movies?
Yeah, I have watched some.
Can you name?
If I can make Jat and Juliet.
Jat and Juliet,
I think I have watched almost all Diljit's movie, both in Hindi and Punjab, and I have like all Punjabi movies he has made which were released on DVD. I have them. It was also Ambar Saria.
Ambar Saria.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ambar Saria. It's place called Amritsar where the Golden Temple is.
Yeah.
What have you learned about Indian culture through Bollywood movies or Indian cinema?
Yeah, so like I began with Hindi movies and then other languages, and on the like full aspect I learned about the differences in India with different cultures, how like that it is the only country of what I know with no official language, where it's 52 languages where more than 1 million has it as their mother tongue.
Yeah.
About the differences religiously, nature-wise, culturally. There's this thing where I just know things where like it comes naturally, like me myself, I love celebrating things, and I just learned that when do you release a big movie? When it's holidays. So you have like in January you have Republic Day, then in March you have Holi, then it's Eid, it can come any time of the year, then you have Dussehra, then you have Diwali, though it's not per se Indian unless it's in Kerala, you have Christmas. Then but the biggest one, I don't know if you know it, because it's very south for you, in January it's the biggest holiday for Telugu and Tamil people speaking, and in Kerala in August is the same time as like in Western, where it's after Mother Mary. It's called in Malayalam Onam.
Onam.
Yeah.
Onam.
Yeah.
Onam.
Yeah. And stuff like that. So yeah, you learn about I learned the rules of cricket, which are very important.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's a different religion in
Exactly.
India. Cricket is.
Yeah, I learned different kind of things, you might say. I learned about like the ideal cricket enemy is Pakistan, but truly the right enemy is Britain, though for many especially Punjabi people, that
Yeah.
if you really want to do something, you go to the old enemy,
Yes.
and stuff like that. But like other Western people, if they watch, like, let's say a Bulgarian movie, a Chinese movie, Indian movie, especially if it should be like nominated for Academy Award, it should look Indian. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
What can we learn about India?
Yeah.
So I come here as a white boy,
Yeah.
a Western person. What have I learned about India? But I started watching Indian movies not to learn about India, but to watch good movies. And I'd rather watch an Indian movie made for Indian people than an Indian movie made for Western people. Also, when I hear like Arabic music, I want Arabic music for Arabic people, not Arabic music for the Western people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I want the true thing.
Yes.
And that can come in different ways. And when you get like the true thing, then you learn also more from it.
Yes.
Like what means a Delhi belly.
Yeah. Okay.
In different, and is the like chora thing that like makes the big picture. So you don't have to like get Indian classes in school. You don't have to have geography. You just have to have a passion, and then everything comes naturally. That's like how it comes to me.
Yes.
That like I observe things, and then I remember things, and then they just are stuck with me in that way.
Yeah, I can say you are more desi than me and Pooja.
Unless it comes to eating with my hands,
Yeah.
then I will disappoint.
Yeah. So be ready, I would say, for October.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
will hide all the spoons
Yeah.
and forks.
I'm
everything.
ready. Yeah.
So
If you say it, if it gives like points, then I'm ready. I'm a good learner.
Yes. And it will take the whole, Zyka to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will feel it different, the food. What about Indian food?
Indian food
fan?
I like. I could live with it. But
Because
yeah, like
Desi girl will cook Indian food every day.
yeah.
She can't live without Indian.
Yeah. But you have to understand that there are things that you like, there are things that you love, and there are things that you cannot live without. Any kind of food, from there would be more convincement for me to live without meat. I'm sorry. Not that I wouldn't be able to it, but there would be like, she would have to smile and hug for more seconds to convince me. But otherwise, I don't have any, like, there are other things that are more important. Like if she said, you are not allowed to watch Indian movies, I would say, then I am not me. Like there are like few things, like God, my mom, wearing Ralph Lauren, not that, the children have to or she has to, I have to. Watching Indian movies, not that she has to, but I have to. And addiction to music. Not that she has to listen to it, but I have to listen to it. And everything after this is just, it can be changed.
Okay.
It's,
So
I have chose it because I like it, but tomorrow it can be a different story.
That's good that you're clear with your terms. If you have to,
Mm.
other than the movies you mentioned,
Mm.
or let's just say if you will recommend just one movie to your Westerner friends or any friends, which one will that be?
Like just recommend to anybody, I would of course recommend my favorite movie, which is called Super Deluxe.
Okay, apart from that.
Apart from that, if you are my new friends, I would recommend to try to watch Malayalam movies, because it brings like a new aspect, especially if you are Indian, to see what Indian culture is also. Like Malayalam movies got big because they are doing movies in a very different way. There's this thing called the new movement in Malayalam movies.
Okay.
And the new movement, it's about the plots are always different, and the movies are like, so they are stars in the new movement, but they are not like represented in the movie as stars. And apart from that, Kerala is very different from the rest of India. So like they are Catholics,
Yeah.
and their Catholic style looks like the US movie Romeo Juliet, you know, like with neon crosses, and if there are priests, they kiss the priest's ring, and the nature is very like bombastic. What I know is like one of the least populated states in whole India, so they don't have any like big cities. In Denmark wise big cities, but Indian wise not at all.
Yeah.
So they are like used to having space for them.
Yeah.
So it's like a Jutland style, because when they are when they are going further with their university and things like that, they go to Bangalore. Like that's the way, which is in a different state, right?
Yeah.
And that way. So that's so for Indian peoples who are Hindi, I would recommend Malayalam movies. Yeah.
And one Malayalam movie, your favorite one?
Well, I have mentioned before the actor Fahad Fazil, because
Yeah.
he's my favorite and he's also the best. Otherwise, I would also recommend, it would be hard to pronounce, but I think it's called Imayu, which it sounds a bit drastic, but it's actually translated into rest in peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imayu.
Yeah, Imayu, which means
Okay.
in Malayalam rest in peace.
Okay.
There's also Angamali Diaries, which
Okay.
is like where they speak in the Angamali dialect of Malayalam.
Yeah.
And otherwise just like newer Malayalam movies, like for if you choose one from the list, there's also one which is like, I think in the top 10, it's called See You Soon, which was made in here in the Corona years. So like a C and a U and then soon, which is like, it was the first Indian movie only made on like on phones and on computer.
Okay.
Because it was made in the Corona years. It also has Fahad Fazil,
Okay.
because he's the best, and yeah, you have to see it. See You Soon.
So before we start, do
Yeah.
we have time? Do you have another appointment or so? Can
I
we
have an
stretch it?
I have an appointment with my bed
Okay.
at one point.
Martin, when did mom moved here?
When she was 6 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. Like not alone. That brave she was not. But yeah, it was from Krakow, if you know. Yeah, the same where And Handhun was recorded the last scenes. And Handhun. Don't you say?
Andhadhun.